Welcome back. Today we have another division preview, our last division preview, AFC North. Now this one, I've been saying they're highly anticipated. This one has been asked since episode 1.
Begged.
Like literally, I've had a comment every single episode for AFC North preview. So we're finally here. Jameson and Nick are on the couch. We have a lot to go over today. All right, so we have a lot to go over in this one. We're going to start out Steelers. This is technically the lowest line of 8.5 in this division.
That's crazy.
Like this is the lowest that we're going. The Steelers are right now queued to be the bottom team at 8.5 wins, but the over is juiced at -145. Across all books, it was about -40. There was one -50, so it's around this range. But I settled on a -145. Seemed to be the most common.
George Pickens 1,010.
I thought it was. I was literally about to say it might be the weirdest line I've seen yet.
They know.
They know something.
1,005.
There was another one. I think it was Diggs. That was at 974.
Yeah.
It's like shit like this just makes me really weary. But he's gonna finish with 1009.
What are they doing? What are they doing?
But 4.5 tugs, I feel like, is an easy over for me. He had 4 last year, or 5, 4 and 5 his first 2 years, and now he's looking to have 6 this year, 7 this year. Being the wide receiver one, no Deontay Johnson. I think he can really take off. When Deontay Johnson wasn't on the field, he had an insane first target read percentage of over 30%. So, I mean, obviously new OC this year, so it might change a little bit. But if he's getting peppered with targets, he's going to be a big red zone threat. He might have the best hands in the league.
If they gave a comeback coach of the year award, it would be on its way to Arthur Smith this year. Arthur Smith is going to cook this year in Pittsburgh.
I was expecting a whole different turn there.
No.
Yeah.
Here's why. Look, think about
comeback coach of the year.
think about the 2023 Falcons, and then think about the 2024 Steelers. The personnel is like identical. You have one good wide receiver, you have 2 good running backs, and you have this mobile quarterback. Now, Russ is obviously a million times better than Ritter. What they're going to do, like the Falcons ran the highest rate of 2 tight end sets last year with Jonnu and Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jonnu had a career year last year. It was like his best receiving yard year. And Arthur Smith's going to set the offense up the same way because Darnell Washington is their backup tight end. Mm-hmm. Darnell Washington's like fucking 6'8", 300 pounds. They're going to put him on the line as a 6th offensive lineman to go with their 1st, 2nd, and 4th round pick this year, all offensive linemen. Last year's 1st round pick was an O-lineman. Like, they've completely flipped what their strengths were in this offense to their O-line and their ground game now. Like, I know he utilized Bijan terribly last year, but he's had success with running backs every single year prior to last year and tight ends. So with a really good offensive line, with the setup that they have, I think it's just going to be Pickens, Pat, and then the 2 running backs just peppered over and over and over and over again. I think Pat's one of the best values in all of fantasy drafts right now. Like, he's going to play on 100% of the snaps, and he's not going to be asked to block a lot because Darnell Washington's going to be blocking pretty much every play for them. I think there's going to be screens to Najee and Jalen Warren without Deontay Johnson there. Like, I swear,
on the Steelers.
If we very
clearly is,
I am like
cooking right now,
brother. Like, I think they're going to be the most underrated offense I think in the NFL last year. If you had given us a somewhat accurate QB, I'm telling you, Smith was dicing up plays like in the red zone on the goal line last year, but Ritter would just fucking sail the ball into the third row of the goddamn stands every time we had an open receiver.
For Russ then, or hope?
No, I don't give a fuck about Russ.
Okay.
just fuck Russ.
Everybody else, though, PPR legends.
Jalen Warren,
not fantasy, just like for his career.
I think he'll be fine this year. I think he'll throw for 2,900 yards and 17 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns.
So
he'll be fine. I think this offense will just be pretty good, though.
No, yeah, I think
it's very condensed.
I'm really excited to see when Warren's lines come out too, from a receiving standpoint.
The Pat line is.
It's nice.
I'd put a lot of money that's going to be over.
No, yeah, 475
yards.
Yeah, tugs is always tough to tell for tight ends, but I think yards for sure. 475 feels juicy. I like him. I like the Pickens over Tutters, Pickens over yards. I mean, honestly, might as well throw it in. Why not sprinkle it?
Logie.
But Najee, I like a lot too. The schedule itself,
dude, those last, brother, for week 11 through 18. That is a powerhouse schedule.
Yeah, you just got to hope you're sweeping Cleveland.
Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy, Cleveland, Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincy.
Jesus, they're going to start
they're going to start good and then end
7
fucking rough.
7-4, like they got this. They only got to win 2 to their next 6.
That is,
but like that's Burrow's healthy. Cleveland doesn't have 17 injuries like last year. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you never.
They got the Jets. They got Dallas. They got Atlanta pre-bye.
Atlanta. Arthur Smith coming back to Atlanta. Arthur Smith in Atlanta.
Like you don't think storyline of the year.
When the Steelers put up 30.
When Arthur Smith fucking dices us up, bro.
And you come out.
It's gonna be the true tragedy of the Atlanta Falcons fandom.
Dude, that game literally might be a score of 10-10, 10-17. Take it or leave it. Drop it down. All right, I think we yapped enough about the Steelers. Went very in depth.
I can keep going.
Jameson over under
8.5. Tomlin, your streak's cooked.
Yeah, looking at the schedule. Yeah, I'm kind of out.
That entire rant. That 3-minute rant.
Well, no, here's the thing. Like, a lot of these defenses I'm not worried about. Like, over the back half, like, I don't care. They play Cincinnati twice. I'm not scared of the Cincinnati defense. Yeah. Philly's defense was kind of shitty. Not shitty.
No, they were shitty at the end of last year.
Yeah, they were not great last year. Like, I'm not overly concerned about all the defenses they're playing. So I like them for offense and fantasy still, but just overall team game, no.
Should have mentioned TJ Watt under sacks.
I low-key, I literally almost typed it in by accident.
Accident.
Because normally we never do defensive players at the candidate. But I was like, I mean, we might as well. All right, Cleveland Browns next up. 8.5 plus 115 for them. The Browns no one believes in the fucking Browns, huh? Plus 115.
They played Dallas week 1.
It's gonna be an elite week 1, dude.
Oh my god, they're done for.
But then they go Jacksonville, Giants, Raiders, Washington.
The Judy line just needs to stop.
It's been there for 3 years.
Just needs to stop.
It's been there for 3 years.
It's been at 725 every summer for 3 years. He'll never get there.
That hasn't changed. That's an under. Njoku, honestly, was popping off of Flacco. I mean, I don't know if that continues with Watson. Thoughts on Watson, Jameson?
This year he'll be fine.
This is the year?
This year's his career.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't do well, they're going to have the biggest cap hit in the history of the NFL after next season. Luckily, they won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, because he's going to bounce back. Big bounce back here for him.
Do you think there's any world where it's like he somehow performs well, but they don't make the playoffs, so they're just in another, like,
Baker type situation?
Give him another chance, maybe?
Yeah. If he even gives them, like, glimpses of hope, he's going to be there for the long haul.
Yeah. There's just right now no hope. So, like, he's got to do something.
These
are like half a game that Tony brings up on the regular.
Yeah.
That's like, but he did good that game. These
are kind of like respectable numbers.
Oh, no. 19.5 and 3,400. That's very respectable numbers. Amari Cooper at 950.
For how bad he's been.
A player that he's going to add a lot of rushing to the other side of the ledger there, too. So, like, realistically, they're probably, they're giving him.
What even was his shoulder injury last year that took him out?
He's like still recovering.
Another AC joint.
It's like a boo-boo or something.
Boo-boo. That's what we're chalking up to.
He had surge.
Yeah,
big surge.
He just keeps having shoulder problems, and that's another concerning thing, especially if it's his throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
But, like, if we're back on AR, we might as well be back on Watson. You know what I mean? It's just shoulder injuries don't matter.
It's now or never, so I might as well be all in.
Yeah, no, I'll put all the chips in the table. Yeah. Dallas, Jacksonville to start out. Go to Philly, Cincinnati, Baltimore. That little 3-game stretch there, 6-8, not looking too hot. But outside of that, I mean, after the bye, you have the Saints. Steelers could be scrappy wins. Denver could be scrappy. Pittsburgh again. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, Baltimore is a rough way to end it.
Yeah, that last 5 weeks.
But, like, I
feel like everyone in this division is going to lose fucking 10 games. 12 games.
Most overrated ass division
of all time.
It's just all fake numbers.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean,
Baltimore's going 17-0. The rest of them are going to be fucking 3-14.
The one thing we're not really constituting into here is the Browns probably the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, their defense is legit as shit. Them and the Ravens are going to win games solely off their defenses. So it's going to be like, I'm very intrigued to see what Dallas does against this team week 1. And I think that's going to set the tone really early. After Trevor Lawrence throws for 4K on him week 2, we'll see how they bounce back. And then move from there. But Aiden O'Connell's going to have a day in week 4. That's all that matters. Moving on.
He's done for.
Oh, wait.
Miles.
Over, under, right now.
I just got to pick the under.
Under.
Judy under yards. Browns. I'm going to take the over.
I was going to say, really? I'm leaning over, too. I'm taking the +1. Their defense is so fucking good, dude. They're going to just win games straight off of scores of 17-10. And that we're going to have to accept it at the end of the day. You know, we're not going to accept Cincinnati at 10.5.
Agreed.
Joe Burrow is not fucking.
Not accept that.
Joe Burrow has not been healthy for damn near 2 years now. 4,100 yards, 28.5 tugs, very high lines. Expecting him to come back and be his old self. Jamar Chase I'm going to do Jamar Chase things. T. Higgins a little bit lower than what he's been the past few years at 875. And Zach Moss might be the most overrated running back in the league.
That yardage number's way too fucking high.
850 for Zach Moss when Chase Brown's going to be the RB1 is kind of crazy.
Chase Brown getting a lot of RB1 snaps in camp, they said.
Snaps. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, he's just like the better running back. And that's just how it is at the end of the day. And we're going to have to accept it.
Is Burrow going to come out and just cook? Like, is he just going to remind us, like, hey, I'm going to put up 12 wins?
I think he's got to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that fucking haircut. You think that's humble? Like,
that's
confidence.
He's the least fake humble person of all time.
Yeah. Oh, no, for real. Like, he's...
Like, but he's good at not being cocky.
He just talks quietly.
Yeah. Slow pace.
He's cocky, though.
No, he's definitely so fucking cocky. You don't rock that haircut if you're not cocky.
I feel like he's pretty good at not showing it. Like, I guess he's pretty good at not seeming like an asshole.
No, he's definitely. I don't think he's an asshole, but I think he's cocky. I think there's a fine line there that he's teetering on. But no, I think when he was at LSU, he was an asshole. But like now, he's not as bad because he's been injured. But Jamar Chase,
the turf has humbled him.
Jamar Chase, I low-key like 9.5 tugs. Like he is this offensive juice, and he can score 3 in a fucking game. He's done it multiple times now. Even last year, he had a game where he had 3, 4. So I think that's a line that I'm definitely leaning towards. T. Higgins over yards I like at 875, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons besides last year when he was hurt. So if he plays the full season, he's healthy. He's his normal T. Higgins self. I think 1,000 yards is right in the cards for him as well. 5.5 tugs I'm not really touching. He's been around that line for the past few years. Zach Moss under lock. Don't even think about it.
I got to start putting in all these lines we've been talking about because he's just I feel
they're going to shift.
Yeah, they're gonna move quickly. I have the final video coming out next week for over/under locks, season long, final one. We're gonna lock it in, call it a day. My top 10 locks that'll be out next week, so look forward to that.
Who else have we locked in? Like easy one. I can't do Worthy or Judy. Already maxed out.
You've already maxed out both of them.
Clinton, that's a good
QJ we said was on the.
What was his lineup? It's $5.99, right?
$5.99.5.
Well, so we got Zach Moss, Quentin. What other teams have we done?
Pat Fryer.
Fry God.
475.
The Fry Lord.
All right. Anyway, we'll keep it moving. Those are the unders I like. The schedule. Starting out with New England. Drake May's about to have a day on Cincy's defense.
They're probably like.
Jacoby about to have a day.
Worst case scenario, they start 3-1. Like there's a real shot they go 4-0.
Brother, you don't think Panthers are coming out with a win in Carolina? You don't think Dave Canales got to hook something up?
Starting spot.
That'd be big for them because I feel like they always start really slow.
They're always
every year they're like 1-3, and then ESPN is just like this is a 4% chance that a 1-3 team makes a play.
I believe the Chiefs do the same shit. They start like 2-3, and we're like, oh, are they not back? And then we're like, oh no, they're here. They've arrived. And then, but the
Chiefs are gonna lose this game, and then people are like. Chiefs ain't the same.
Yep, no.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. 3-peat.
Yeah.
Lock it in. Yeah, all right. It's going to be tough either way. They do play a few scrappy teams there at the end. Dallas, Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Honestly, we have no idea really where they're going to be on the spectrum this year. New coaching and everything. Brought in a bunch of new players.
Honest, those last 4, though, that's a nice season ender.
Like, you don't think Denver's about to be scrappy as fuck? Sean Payne's defense. I do you do look at the schedule in like all like seriousness. They do play a lot of good defenses, which is something like for when you're looking at lines, when you're looking at fantasy players. Obviously, you don't really factor in Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase because they're just fucking them. But for the other cases, might be interesting to see how they fare. New England's always going to be scrappy. KC's always really good. Baltimore, they play obviously twice. Cleveland, they play twice. Pittsburgh, they play twice. They even played Dallas, who's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's going to be interesting all around. Denver. Anyway, moving on, over, under, lock it in.
I'm counting.
I'm taking the under. 10.5 feels too high.
Under is way too. The under's so locky. Yeah. That's why it's juiced.
The only other thing I think
I'm going higher.
Maybe point out is
that schedule's Swiss cheese.
Brian Callahan, their OC is gone, and so is Joe Mixon. So I kind of wonder if they go a little bit more pass heavy here, or if like the change of personnel or whatever.
That's why T. Higgins is going to the moon again.
I don't know about again.
Yeah, no.
Has he ever?
I mean, 2 back-to-back 1,000 yards. He's
wow,
stepped
what a fucking bar.
Chill enough.
Hang.
Great Super Bowl. Anyway.
Doesn't count for fantasy.
Enough.
So I don't care.
We're fine. But you know what will count for fantasy? Getting the draft guide, which you can do by using code BDGE when you sign up on Underdog, and you get all these lines that Nick just locked in as well.
Yeah, so if you got a fantasy football draft coming up against your idiot league mates, this is the way to beat their ass, all right? BDGE.co. That's where the draft guide currently is. You can get it at full price, or you can get it extremely discounted by simply going on UnderdogFantasy.com, downloading the app, and using promo code BDGE when you deposit $10 or more. All right, we'll email you out access to the draft guide. If you do that, you'll get a free square for week 1 on Underdog. You can do some best ball drafts with us, and you'll get some deposit bonuses on that sheesh as well. All right, so get on there. Take Zach Moss's under, take Jerry Jeudy's under, take Xavier Worthy's under, and we just made you a whole bunch of money. Plus, get the draft guide.
All right, 10.5 plus 100. This was all the way to 11.5 to start the offseason, and now it's all the way down at 10.5 for plus money.
Like Baltimore and Cincinnati being at the same win total just doesn't sit right with me.
It don't feel right.
Baltimore's better on defense. I would say they're equally as good, if not better, on offense.
Added Derrick Henry.
Better coaching. Yeah, I just it doesn't really make sense. They lose some piece on D, right? Patrick Queen is out of there. Geno Stone is out of there. They also lost
the DC.
They lost the DC, right, to Seattle. They got rid of a few O-linemen as well. There's going to be 3 new offensive linemen in Baltimore.
It seems like their O-line legit be bad.
Yeah, it's possible. I find that hard to be a thing. It's one of those teams that have always the last decade.
Well, it's also scheme based. It makes it hard for their line to be bad,
right?
Just because they run all zone scheme, which doesn't pull for a lot of pullers. There's not a lot of real action going on in the front.
And Lamar, I feel just kind of mitigates a lot of
he's just fucking
what the D linemen, we're gonna do anyways.
Yeah, they're just gonna try to contain, and they just can't. Yeah. It's just impossible.
It's not like you can't do a normal pass rush on Lamar.
No, you just can't. His lines 3,400, 770 for the rushing side, 22.5 for the passing side, lower than what he had last year, and 5.5 on the rushing side.
Tuds are lower than last year's, 24 or something.
Yeah, he had he finished with 25.
I think you're right.
25 passing tugs last year. But the 2 years before that, he had 18 and 19. So it's you're really playing with fire there if you're gonna take that. I'm not touching the touchdowns for Lamar at least. I am gonna touch the touchdowns for Derrick Henry. 10.5. I feel like he's gonna be Gus fucking Edwards.
I'm gonna touch the under on the yards.
Yeah, I'm touching the under on yards for sure. If I'm doing anything, it's Derrick Henry under yards, over tugs. Mark Andrews, I'm gonna take just over everything.
So the passing numbers are hard to get behind with Lamar's numbers being so low, and then Zay and Mark's being all the way up at 7-ish. A little hard to buy into that. Derek, I guess the only case I can make for the yardage is feels like the first team in a while he's going to be all right, they're up in the fourth quarter. Let's give him 7-8 carries, a game in the fourth quarter where he could rack up an extra 40, 50 rushing yards a game.
There's a world he gets the Travis Kelce LeBron treatment.
Yeah,
he's old
maybe.
as fuck for running back.
Who else is
Keaton's gonna be back by week 5.
I don't know, dude.
He's the GOAT.
Which means week 9.
Yeah, I don't think he'll actually be back for a while. He'll definitely start on the PUP list. Keaton won't be there.
They got
Justice Hill and fucking Rasheen Ali.
Yeah, Rasheen Ali.
Yeah,
Justice Hill's a dude. He's the RB3 GOAT.
Him and Gus are the same guy. Just they just stay on that depth chart.
Yeah,
that's tough. What I mean. There's no one else behind him. Doesn't make he's not gonna catch passes, but
it's tough. I still don't love the line. I mean, there's only been one 1,000-yard rusher and 1,018 yards, and that was Mark Ingram in 2019.
Yeah.
So it's you're banking off a very small sample size because Lamar takes away again 770 yards roughly. To where it's just he takes away so much from the rushing game. They run a ton of read option. They run a ton of triple option. There are a ton of RPO, so they might pass. Nicholas,
we've learned,
and they keep it moving. But there's a lot of options there. Where before in Tennessee, it was under center. Everything is a handoff, stretch right, stretch left, HB dive right, HB dive left.
Do you think Derrick Henry as a player likes that better? Or is going to this offense better?
No, he'll 1,000% like Tennessee better.
Yeah.
That was his scheme for his entire life. That was what Alabama ran with him. That's what he's probably ran in fucking high school, damn near.
So you think he
put
might
him under
struggle
center and just it depends. In pistol, I don't know how Derrick Henry's really gonna fare. Because in pistol, he's only roughly about 5 yards back. In single back, he's 7 yards back. So he loses 2 yards of running to the line.
I feel like you got to be shiftier to be better in that.
That's why, I mean, again, we looked at it last year. That's why Keaton had so many breakaway runs, is because he's so quick off the line and twitchy, which fit into this offense really well. That's even why Justice Hill, who's a very quick runner, if you aren't familiar with Justice Hill as a runner, that's why guys like that who are a little bit smaller, a little bit more elusive do better. It's going to be very interesting to see how a 6'3" or 6'2", 245-pound Derrick Henry does.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, his value comes from the goal line work.
Oh, no, that's why I'm like his tutters might be.
Yeah, he led the NFL in running back goal line carries last year. So it's like if Derrick Henry has 80% of that.
And listen, they might change the scheme up because Derrick Henry's there and run more single back. Like, there's no guarantee they're just going to stick to pistol just because Lamar is more comfortable in it, whatever. Lamar's just run that in college, in the NFL, just because pistol's so hard to beat when you have Lamar Jackson in the backfield.
What do you think about his rushing line?
770. I low-key like it with Derrick Henry because I think Derrick Henry's going to pull so much attention into the box that it's going to force one-on-one situations for Lamar. And as we all know, it's really hard to tackle Lamar in a one-on-one situation. So I think he could break some. It'll be interesting. I don't think I would personally play it, but I would lean it to the over 100%.
All right, Mark.
They might come out and put 8 men in the box every single time and be like, Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews beat us.
Yeah.
Like, that might be a real thing.
That's such a tough run game to stop.
Dude, you have the best running quarterback in the league and Derrick Henry.
I just feel like this is one of the reasons I'm hyped on Mark Andrews, too, is play action is going to be unstoppable to Mark Andrews.
No, like, he's just going to cook.
Linebackers are going to be like, oh, fuck, is Lamar running it? Is Derrick Henry running it? There goes Mark Andrews. It feels like that's going to happen 6 times a game. Like, play action is going to be unbeatable in this offense. And it's going to be so good.
You know Zay Flowers on the zig routes? Just quick, get them out, dump them.
Zig routes.
Them zig routes might be huge.
Baby.
But yeah, so
how you doing?
The schedule itself, obviously Kansas City to start. That's going to be interesting in itself. But then you go to Vegas. Dallas is going to be interesting. Buffalo, who the fuck knows if they're going to be good or not. Cincinnati, Washington, Tampa Bay, Cleveland. There's no real stretches here where I'm like shaking in my boots. They end with the Giants, Pittsburgh. Houston, again, should be good. Don't have anything concrete there.
This is what I mean. Like everyone else in this division has the hardest schedule ever. But now that Baltimore doesn't have to play Baltimore, their shit's fucking easy.
Yeah, no, because they don't have to play Baltimore. But I mean, I'm
still
like
not. The hard part's like in that first 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough first 5 weeks.
Are they going to start 2-3 and then just bounce back?
Well, because like interdivision games are obviously really tough. The Cleveland, Pittsburghs, but they're like spread out really, they're really well throughout the schedule. Whereas it felt like the other 3 teams were playing all of them back to back to back to back.
They play Cincy week 5. They don't play Cincy again until week 10. They play Pittsburgh week 11. Don't play them again until week 16. Cleveland week 18, and then before that week 8.
You know what I mean? Like
so that'll be tough.
Yeah, Jameis will cook. So
that's a trap.
When Jabu gets in, it's a trap game. It's a trap game. And when the Ravens are resting everybody, and it's Jabu versus Tyler Huntley. It might be a movie. Trace McSorley might get the start.
Huntley's on the Browns now, I think.
Is he? Who's the backup in Baltimore?
I have no idea.
Who is the backup in
Baltimore? Trace McSorley's going to the moon.
Josh Johnson?
I have no idea.
It's been the same. They're like their running back depth chart is the same thing as their quarterback depth chart.
They're just all the same, just copy and paste
every year. Hold on. I gotta see that.
Dude, it was funny. At one point, wasn't the Ravens quarterback room Lamar, Tyler Huntley, and Josh Johnson just all copy and pasted, look like the same dude?
It's still Josh Johnson.
Gross. That's so goated.
Disgusting.
I
can't wait to take his overs in preseason.
I hope they run a lot of 2 tight end sets also. I'd love to see Likely on the field a lot.
Yeah.
They don't have wide receiver depth to be running 3 wide receiver sets.
You don't believe in Bateman? Come on, baby.
Zay and Bateman.
Yeah, true. I don't know if I want Bateman on the field.
I mean, what other options you got? It's fucking Baltimore.
Yeah, that's fair. Bring Sammy Watkins back. Come on. Bring him back. You need him. All right. Well, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe. Use code BDG when you sign up on Underdog, because not only you'll get the draft guide, but you'll get a free square Patty Mahomes, maybe Lamar Jackson, half a yard. So you get that to pair with all the bets we just placed, all the bets Nikki locked in. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Plus, you get up to a free $250 deposit match bonus. So make sure you take advantage, get the money, get the picks, get the free squares, and we start balling out, rolling into the season. But we'll catch you next time. Peace.